just a sign that times are changing and love and compassion is prevailing.
Our nation was founded on a bedrock principle that we are all created equal. The project of each generation is to bridge the meaning of those founding words with the realities of changing times. This decision will end the patchwork system we currently have. It will end the uncertainty hundreds of thousands of same-sex couples face. When all Americans are treated as equal, we are all more free. My administration has been guided by that idea. It's why we stopped defending the so-called Defense of Marriage Act.
Well, did you hear and did you feel the earth shake this morning?
The president calling the Supreme Court ruling a victory for America.
That slow, steady effort is rewarded with justice that arrives like a thunderbolt.
Well, the Supreme Court announcing its decision striking down gay marriage bans just about 3 hours ago.
People in communities across the country are talking about today's historic Supreme Court decision on same-sex marriage. By a 5-4 vote, the High Court affirmed the right of same-sex couples to marry in all 50 states.
And the parade comes today after the Supreme Court's historic ruling on gay marriage, making this normally jubilant crowd all the more excited. Something worthy of a major party.
Across the country, same-sex couples able to tie the knot for the first time. Marriages are taking place everywhere. On Friday, now Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom called this moment surreal.
I thought it'd take 70 years. I mean, I love to romanticize that. I thought we'd be here a decade or so later. I never did.
Justice that arrives like a thunderbolt.
Not the best weather for Pride weekend in the city and today's parade.
Tonight, we are a nation of extremes. The East is cleaning up after vicious storms knocked down trees, snapped power lines, and wrecked buildings. Folks were jolted out of bed by non-stop roaring thunder. In the West, at least 30 large wildfires are thriving on the long drought and relentless heat.
Residents stretching from Virginia to New Jersey say that last night's thunderstorms, like the one that took out this 150-foot tall oak tree, were extremely violent and very frightening. It was in the forecast as a thunderstorm, but what developed was a much larger weather system in which clusters of storms crashed together. In New Jersey, residents like Paul Marositz described rain and hail coming in sideways.
The wind was worse than Sandy. That's how loud it was.
In Washington, the storm created a spectacular light show, but also forced a group of Girl Scouts camping out at the White House to seek shelter in the executive office building.
This morning, nearly 500,000 people left in the dark.
I've never seen anything like this.
Overnight, intense lightning brightening dark skies across the country, hitting the John Hancock Building in Chicago, and non-stop flashes in D.C.
Telephone poles snapped back and forth, unable to stand up to the winds battering western Illinois. Dark clouds collided with the sunset over Chicago's Wrigley Field, creating an orange-black sky. The volatile weather that soaked the roadways and made it nearly impossible to see in Illinois.
It spun up so quickly and disappeared so quickly that it was virtually undetectable ahead of time by radar.
Huge wildfires are raging from Alaska to California, forcing thousands of evacuations. It is not only threatening homes and businesses, it is destroying them.
One person described the speed of the fire as mind-blowing.
The massive Sleepy Hollow wildfire, fueled by strong winds and scorching heat, burned through the canyons and hills of central Washington state, destroying 24 homes and forcing thousands to evacuate.
Oh my God, this power is so impressive. Big orange glow, kind of a fireball, and a lot of black smoke billowing.
Fires are increasing daily throughout the West and Alaska, with high temperatures building and lightning strikes.
The nation came together to celebrate its independence over the weekend, but in Orlando, Mother Nature was providing her own show. Take a look at this. At this image captured by one visitor to the Magic Kingdom on Saturday, the lightning was fierce and many other images just as awesome made their way onto Twitter over the weekend. That almost looks like
a Disney scene.
Yeah, it looks like it was man-made. It doesn't look like Mother Nature.
A night of fun at a water park turned into complete chaos for hundreds of people. You can see the explosion, then people running through the flames.
Around 1,000 people were dancing to a DJ at a water park when coloured theatrical powder that was being thrown from the stage accidentally ignited. Some had initially thought it was special effects and part of the display.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Show me now, whoa, whoa, whoa!
But amateur footage shows that within seconds, crowd members closest to the stage were engulfed in a massive fireball.
Whoa!
They ran to get away, but more than 500 suffered from burns, especially to their lower legs.
Everybody was running and pushing each other. We saw a lot of people whose skin had been seriously burned. It was just like hell.
The highest court in Oklahoma says the monument of the Ten Commandments needs to be removed from the Oklahoma Capitol grounds.
It has caused an uproar from the moment it was announced. A satanic statue slated to be unveiled in Detroit later this month.
But despite outrage from religious leaders, those plans are moving forward tonight. 7 Action News reporter Ross Jones is here now with this strange story.
Only word for it, strange. Good evening, ladies. Detroit has been through hell for all sorts of different reasons, from riots to bankruptcy. So maybe that's why one group says the Motor City is the perfect place to unveil a symbol of Satan.
Satanic symbol Baphomet. If you'd been at the Greater New Mount Moriah Baptist Church this morning.
This enemy that we're fighting is an invisible enemy, and it's going to take invisible weapons.
Everyone rejoice! No longer will we have to remember that credit card password consisting of random letters, numbers, and symbols. This new method of payment certainly falls in line with what MasterCard has developed for their customers in the past.
Now, Charles, this one is better for me than the fingerprints because I don't have any fingerprints.
You really don't? You were born like that?
Well, something happened.
Or the CIA thing. Okay, I mean,
something happened along the way, either from playing the violin a whole bunch, but that doesn't explain the right hand. But anyway, I don't have any fingerprints. Wow. So this face identification thing and the eye, the retina, I guess, is where they're heading, right?
It's all called biometrics. So the fingerprint is the easiest thing, and we're kind of used to that from iPhones and things like that. But the face, the eyes, the retina, all of that stuff is absolutely amazing. And
New details about a story that's had shoppers buzzing for months now. We got our hands on permits showing which stores are likely to call the new outlet mall in Wesley Chapel home.
You can see the Tampa Premium Outlets are closer to being completed. Right here, yes, take a look. A massive piece of construction going on here.
All right, here is a crow that decides he wants to take a break from flying, so he hitches a ride on an eagle, Vlad. Both birds were flying over Seebeck, Washington.
America! The sneaky little crow spotted a chance to take a break, so he jumped on the eagle's back. That's an American eagle, it looks like. A photographer caught the rare moment on the camera. The encounter lasted just a few seconds before the birds parted and went their separate ways.
What do you think that bald eagle's thinking? Get off my back.
Get off my back. Don't tread on me.
Bob was remarking in the break about what is making, if you happen to see the moon before the sun comes up, and it was really kind of
red.
Big.
That moon looked blood red. I mean, that's a color of it right there. That's from Tennessee last night.
For investors here in the U.S.
A tech failure affecting 3 major U.S. organizations on Wednesday was not a coordinated cyber attack. That is what officials and security experts say this morning after a string of problems affecting millions of people. Technical glitches grounded dozens of United Airlines flights, shut down the New York Stock Exchange, and crashed the Wall Street Journal's website.
Wednesday was already shaping up to be a rough day here with the debt crisis in Greece and a market mess in China. But then this glitch happened.
Junction the past couple of nights. It peaked on Tuesday night, June 30th, but the stars are still, the planets I should say, are still very close together tonight.
There's excitement in the galaxy. As Jupiter and Venus move together, the planets will appear to merge in the night sky.
The convergence of these planets, called a conjunction, have dazzled mankind for thousands of years. In 2 BC, 2 planets were in near-perfect alignment.
That you couldn't see the difference of 2 objects in the sky. They look like a single bright object. And so that has been proposed as one explanation for the Star of Bethlehem.
There was a Supreme Court ruling that declared gay marriage a constitutional right last week, and now the UFC president Dana White has asked fighters to not invoke the name of Jesus during interviews. His comments come on the heels of middleweight Yoel Romero's post-fight interview last week.
What happened to you? Wake up, USA! Go back for you, go for Jesus!
Yet he still wants fighters to stop thanking Jesus publicly.